Hello world, today I'll be looking into working on my projectile system. So that's going to deal with spawning projectiles based off of what item the player has. I'm going to have to think about how this is going to work a bit here. So essentially, in the game, so my player, let's see, do I have a player? Yes, player graphic. So the player, he's going to have the ability to use a little knife as his main weapon, and then use a secondary weapon that's more powerful and has more range, but is limited by some quantity. So kind of my thinking was something similar to like Batman, where you pick up items. I guess not items. In Batman, you don't pick up any items. You just pick up, like, I don't know what you'd call it, like ammo. And then you can cycle through existing items. But I guess this is more like Castlevania, I guess. Because Castlevania, you pick up different items. But in Castlevania, you do like up, and then you press the fire button. I think that's how you do it, if I remember correctly. For this game, I'm thinking I'm just going to use the select button. So yeah, I hope that's intuitive. So you hit the select button to just swap back and forth between the knife and whatever custom item you have. Custom item being one of these. So I need to think logically how this is going to work. So when I hit the fire button, what do I want to happen? What do I want to happen when I hit the select button? I need to start thinking of these things. So if I hit the fire button, I'm thinking I just jump to some function and just execute that. I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I think that works. And when I hit select in game, I'm just going to change what that function is. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah. So in other words, I'm going to have, like, you know, a bunch of different functions, like basically one for every different item there is. So in this case, it'll be, let's see, it'll be 8. 7 for the items, and then the 8th one is just the sort of default knife item that I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And And yeah. So these would all be different values, right? Like these are just labels. And yeah, I'd create an array with all these things in them to know where they are. And then I just jump to blah. And I need a variable then if I'm going to do that. That has to be in the 0 page though. Do I really want to do things that way? I think so. I hate doing like giant if-else trees. I like just jumping to whatever it is I need to jump to. So I think I'm just going to start just programming. So where should I define? These are, I guess these are kind of core functions, so they probably need to be in the main engine. I should probably look at how much freaking space I have. This is an amazing tool to do that. Okay. All right. So yeah. So how do I want to do this? Let me just throw I shouldn't have closed that. Okay. Okay, I should have enough space here. Oh man, is my mouse dead? Okay. All right. Yeah, not much space. Reset main. I'm trying to think. Where do I want to handle this? Probably where do I get my buttons? Buttons. Okay. Okay, game engine. I feel like I should like yeah, I've got like this big giant thing for level load. But nothing for the frickin' main engine? Okay. Yeah, I'm doing like button stuff here, so I might as well do the other button stuff here as well. Yeah, player left, player down. Okay. Yeah, and I don't want to see buttons actually. I want to see new buttons. So I just store like whatever's being pressed in buttons, and new buttons it like only does it once, so it clears it out like the next frame. I guess I'll define my functions here. So let me think. What do I want to call this guy? What do we want to call this guy? What do I want to call him? Thinking something based off these. So I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Projectile create. I should have just called it that. Bomb. Gun. Sword. X. So I'm wondering if I need it. Do I need to do any? Do I even need to do anything special here? Do I really even need to have like special methods for this? I don't actually think I do. I think I just create it. I think I just create it. I'm just thinking like, what would even be, what would be different from any of these? Like, I don't think there's any special condition. Maybe that, No, not even the throwing sword. Yeah, it kind of just falls onto the object itself. Yeah. How do I want to do this? I don't think I actually need to do this. I don't think I need to do this. I don't think I'm going to do this. Just projectile create, maybe. How am I going to do this? Do I want to, like, even... I'm wondering if I should create a whole separate, like, system for the projectiles in terms of, like, how they're being updated. That is to say, don't use, like, the normal object updater slash object spawner thing. Because this is, like, projectiles are things that it's only going to exist on screen. I don't really need to worry about, like, more complex things, like its in-world position as opposed to its on-screen position. If I just have, like, a loop that just updates these static projectiles, that might be more efficient. I think. Yeah. Instead, I just have a loop. When I press the button will create a projectile type. Okay, well, if I do this way, I should probably be asking myself how many projectiles although it's a little tricky because different projectiles have different properties. And how many projectiles? I have to limit, like, the number of, like, projectiles I can have on screen. I don't know how many I want that to be. Like, should I make it like 10? No more than 10 projectiles on screen? It all kind of just depends on my CPU, how much time I have left to update this stuff. Okay, let's just, for argument's sake, let's say I have 10. If I have 10 projectiles, because I'm thinking, like, maybe I don't even want to do a loop. Like, I kind of just want to unroll the loop and then just Oh, I gotta think how. Okay, I need to think about this. How do I want to do this? Yeah, I'm thinking, definitely leaning towards not using what I already have. Because I eat up extra space in that, in the object realm. And I think I want to I think I want to create my own space for projectiles. Just because they're kind of different, and they don't need like. I guess they kind of do need. They do need scrolling to be updated. How do I want to do this? I kind of want them to update more than 20 frames per second. I don't know if I can afford to do 60 frames per second for projectile updates. I gotta think. How do I want to do this? Create the object. Thinking like each projectile, there's just going to be a bunch of slots for projectiles. And when I create a projectile, I populate that slot, kind of like the objects. I'm going to have to jump to that thing. The projectile, then update the projectile, then jump back. I'm just wondering how many of these things can I get away with doing? How many projectiles can I create? I gotta think about this. I'm wondering if there's like maybe something I can do with the fact that I was thinking like maybe since I only have one item at a time, can I somehow incorporate that into the design of the code here? Is there any kind of tricks? I'm not thinking of any. None come to mind. Yeah, and I don't want to use my pre-existing system. Yeah, because the nature of projectiles are kind of different from other objects. Like, there's not really, I mean, because it kind of is a state machine, but they're simple. How do I want to do this? I gotta think about this. Hit a button. I'm wondering like if I create like just, an array, and let's just say that each of these little bracket things represent just a cell. And I'm wondering if I because I don't like the idea of like looping to find some free slot. That's what I do with the that's what I do with the object handler. The object handler just like looks for something that's free. It starts at the beginning and just linearly traverses this until it finds something free, and then it instantiates the object there. It just like says, bam, here's object, do that. But I'm wondering if I can get away with something where, since these things, projectiles, they're so short-lived, like I just have a pointer, and just as soon as something spawns here, then I go to the next one. And I'm just spawning things in this linear manner, and I go all the way till I reach the end of the array, and then I just wrap around and then start overwriting like whatever was here. I'm wondering if that would work for player projectiles. Nah. Yeah, I never tried something like this before. Kind of risky, I guess. I just kind of want to get away with this searching for stuff, seeing if it's free, and then, you know, putting it in there. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of just thinking, like, if I have to update all this stuff, yeah, what kind of data structure can I use for this? I'm sure there's a really clever way of doing this kind of stuff. What to do? What to do? Yeah, objects. Yeah, objects won't be... Just wondering, okay, the nature of the destruction of the projectile objects. Like if I'm creating, if I create, let's just say, yeah, create object, create object, create object, create object. Now I create object here, and this one goes back away. Let's just say here. Could be a case where this one may delete itself before this one deletes itself. Or even like this one may delete itself. The latest one that was created may delete itself first before this one, like the earlier ones. Like if I write shot in this direction, the right, and then I turned around and immediately shot in this direction. As soon as the projectile goes off screen, it destroys itself. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of ways to maybe try and speed this up. I wonder how many spaces I would need if I were to do things like this. Just fast, yeah, just using a pointer. The old pointer technique. Just boom, 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 boom. Wrap around. Don't care if you're alive or not. At this point, you're going to get overwritten. Yeah, I wonder if it's even worth tracking, like, yeah, what's active or not. I think the update loop is just going to have to go through all of this no matter what. Yeah, but the creation loop doesn't. I think I can save some time and just have this thing increment linearly and then wrap around and then just kind of continuously flow in this fashion. I think I can do that. The question is how big of an array to make. How much space? Yeah, and I kind of wanted to reuse all of these sprites up here. I wonder if that should be my limit. Like, all of these things just are also projectiles. So that would mean we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 sprites. That doesn't necessarily mean 16 projectiles, though. Mason asks, do you want to try missile projectile? Well, so I got a bunch of different items planned out, or projectiles. Where is my view here? Yeah, so these are all the different items I have. Got a bomb, a gun, throwing sword, throwing axe, broken bottle, flame, and actually I think this is supposed to be the default knife. I think that's what I intended that to be. Is that what I intended that to be? I totally forgot. It's been a while. But yeah, I'm kind of limited on how many of these projectiles I can spawn. I kind of want to reuse these sprites up here that I'm already using, because I'm firing an interrupt and doing some PPU changes to basically enable the screen. And I think I have time to set some of these locations, but I don't know if I have that much time to actually reuse all these things within the H blank window. Never done that before, so I don't even know if it's possible. Well, I'm pretty confident that it's possible, but yeah. But I was just thinking more from like a design, like system design standpoint, how to actually sort of instantiate these things. I was thinking about creating like, you know, an array. I guess I should be more proper, right? Like an array, and I'll just have, you know, null values. And I was planning on having a pointer that just points to, you know, just the first index. And that's my free slot. And whenever I hit the fire button, I say, okay, we have, you know, let's say we've got an object there, a projectile object. And so that's what happens when the fire button is pressed. This gets populated. And later, you know, down below, there's going to be a loop that basically loops through this. And whenever there's an object in here, it's just going to, you know, update that that object, that projectile object. It's going to do its whatever it's supposed to do. If the bullet and it's moving in some direction, it's going to continue to move that bullet in that direction. So yeah. Yeah, and there's like special creation conditions, I suppose, with these objects. Yeah. But anyways, so when you create this thing, the idea is the pointer moves over to the next thing, and then if you fire multiple times, you're creating multiple objects. And the idea is, like, these objects don't last very long. And as you're going through here, they kind of die out. What's the sound of the projectiles you've made? I don't really have any sound implemented right now. Sound is typically the last thing, like one of the last things that I implement when I make a game. Although I do have music and sound effects made. Somewhere in my Family Tracker file, I've got all that stuff, but none of it's implemented right now. It's basically kind of just a bunch of white noise. It's nothing special. Yeah, different. I think every item kind of has the same noise right now. Yeah, it's it's something that needs to be polished up, definitely. But yeah, I just don't have it implemented. Yeah, no problem. No worries. But yeah, yeah, in terms of this object projectile thing, I'm thinking this is how it's going to work. Yeah, I'm just going to have a whole bunch here. Although the problem with this, like having a whole bunch, is I don't want to have to, like, I'm just thinking about like updating it, right? I have to loop through this whole thing to know that I need to update it. Like, I wonder how... Just wondering, like, would it be faster if I had, like, some kind of hash map? I don't think so. Because there's, like, all these calculations that have to be done to calculate the hash. And I think, like, this is, like, small enough where it's actually faster, probably. I wonder, I should probably experiment a bit. Like, just write a test program to see, like, is it actually faster to use, like, a hash map? Or is it faster to loop when this array is so small? Yeah. It's kind of funny because, you know, like, people always talk about, like, oh, you know, you never want to do, like, big O of, like, n if you could do big O of, you know, log base 2 of n. Or you never want to use big O of n squared if you can do big O of n. But there are, like, weird edge cases where just, like, the overhead of, like, some of these, like, big O of n algorithms is just so costly when you're dealing with, you know, sufficiently small n that yeah, you're better off just doing the more inefficient algorithm, because it's more efficient when n is small. It's like, and also, like, the footprint of the algorithm matters here. Like, how much memory is it consuming? Like, that's something else that you have to consider. It's like people who dismiss, like, bubble sort. It's like, well, you know, bubble sort actually may be the most optimal thing, depending on, like, what your constraints are. Like, what is n? How much actual space do you have to write your algorithm, right? And what is the performance constraint? Like, these are all things you kind of have to consider. And so it kind of makes developing stuff fun. In this world, it's like you have to consider, like, all these different kind of things, all these different kind of constraints, and you can come up with weird, fun, cool algorithms and implement them. But yeah, I'm just thinking, like, in terms of this, I think just, yeah, linearly incrementing this thing, just like that, and then just wrapping it around, just overriding whatever was in the first slot. I feel like that would work. Yeah, but it's tricky. So yeah, code-wise, if I do that, I'm going to have to create an array. I'm going to have to create something to update that array and update all the projectile objects. Yeah, and if I only have 16 sprites, I have to consider the size of the projectiles that I'm creating. So let's see here. So this is my gun, like, icon, but the projectile that's associated with this is the little bullet right here, which is just one sprite. Yeah, so I create one. So ideally, I'd like to just reuse, like, say, this digit up here. Like, that guy gets used once up here, and then he'd get used again, like, down here. And thinking that maybe actually like, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Oh, so tricky. Because I think some of the objects I have are, like the sprites are much bigger. Let's see, where is... I'm looking for... Do I not have any... Do I not have the projectiles for this thing? Doesn't look like I have it in my... Oh, I know they're in my master sprite sheet, but I just don't see them. Yeah, I just don't see them in here. Yeah, they're not in here. Let's see. Do I have them in my Game Maker prototype? Projectiles. How big is this thing? Nine? Really? 9? Okay, no, that's 8. Okay, yeah, lengthwise is fine. Okay. So that's one sprite, this is one sprite, this is one sprite. But yeah, like this throwing axe is like 2. The bottle is like 2. I guess, do I just assume each is 2 for this? What, so I have 8 projectiles? I can only have 8 projectiles on the screen at once. Yeah, and then I have to start just deleting them. I feel like 8 is such a small number. But worst case scenario, unless I want to bleed over and start using more sprites. Yeah. Yeah. Am I even using these ones? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think I'm using these ones. I think I was saving them for something. Okay, if I reuse these sprites for my projectile, just thinking, because I have to make the change fast, right, in H-blank. So if they're all the same projectile, that means they should all be the same sprite. Ooh, man, it'd be so much better if projectiles were all the same. Meaning same size. If they were all like the same 8x16 dimension, that would greatly simplify stuff. Can I do that? Like, wondering like how I could do that. need to think. I would need to think about this. If I could do that, though. Huh. Ugh. How would I do that? I feel like some of these items just straight up don't lend themselves to that size, though. Yeah, like the throwing axe that I have. Ugh. And having everything the same size is also kind of lame. In terms of like game capability, diversity, whatever you want to call it, variation. You need that. If everything's kind of put into this narrow box, kind of sucks. It'd be nice if I could it'd be nice if I could, well, no. Shoot. Think. Oh, was this my... Was this... I think this is what I had. I think these are what my original items were kind of like. Yeah, punch, I just changed that to wielding a knife. Yeah, bullet, bomb, axe, knife. It's like a throwing knife. I guess I could change that. Like I could make that into... Yeah, 8 by 16. God, it's so narrow. How would I do this? This throwing knife would be so narrow. I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I could angle the knife, the throwing knife. No, I can't. Can I? Ugh. Yeah, if I'm... Just what makes it tricky is that if I want to reuse those sprites for this kind of application, maybe I don't even want to do this. If it's still angled, wondering if... Yeah, this thing isn't the best, but yeah. Yeah, my idea here was like maybe the knife would be something that instead of moving forward, it could just move up and fall down, but that's kind of like what what the axe does. Yeah, that doesn't really work. Huh. I got a question. Is a game glitch a game bug, or the developers created it? Thank you. Most of the NES games had a glitch to skip the final boss. Got a question. Is a game glitch a game bug? Well, yeah, I would say glitches are bugs. They're just a type of bug. Although, yeah, I don't know if yeah, glitches I would classify as a bug. I don't think glitches are intentional. Yeah. Although some people just say, you know, for products that are finalized, you know, there are no bugs. There's no glitches, there's no bugs, there's just features. Good features and bad features. Yeah, I would say glitches are yeah, they are not they're not something that's planned. Let's just put it that way. Like think of like missing no, right? Like that's a glitched Pokemon. That's definitely something the developers did not like. They did not intend that. They did not intend for you to face Professor Oak in a Pokemon battle. That is a total glitch, which I would argue is a bug. Although, like, yeah, like, just thinking, like, in Super Smash Bros. Melee, like, there's certain, like, frame-perfect things that you have to do that weren't intentional, but actually make the game, like, better. And I'm not sure if one would classify those as glitches, but they're not intentional. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, what defines a glitch and what defines a bug? I mean, to me, again, yeah, anything that's like unintentional, that would be a bug, even if it's good. If it's not intended, it's like, I guess, I don't know. Yeah, it's because bug, it usually implies like there's some malicious component, or maybe not malicious, but just, yeah, something that breaks. But yeah, there could be stuff that, like in the Melee example, or it's like unintentional, doesn't break anything. In fact, it may improve the product. Yeah, in those cases, I don't know what you would call that. But yeah, that's a good question. All right, I need to think. What the heck would I do here? Do I want to? I really want to just simplify. Just make these things. Maybe I don't need to do this. Maybe. just wondering, like, do I... what would be a simple way of doing this? It'd be so nice if I could just cram everything into this space. If everything was the same space here, that would just... this would make it simpler and it would make it faster to cycle through stuff. Tricky, tricky, tricky. That's what makes things tricky. Yeah, because I got so many of these things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 16. 16. And 8 just doesn't seem right. It'd be nice if I could just do 16. Although having 16 things, that is a lot. Oh, come on. I gotta think of something. I guess for some I could just make a special case, right? Instead of 1 load, I'd have to do 2 loads. And I guess that's not so bad. Yeah, instead of 1, I just do 2 load operations. Ugh. Okay, I guess I can get away with that. I'm still kind of limited. So worst case scenario, yeah, it still would be 8 here. So I think I'm just gonna keep. I'll keep this the same. Keep this the same. Yeah, I think I'll keep those the same. Just means I can only have like 8 of these things on the screen. Oh man, it's so weird. Would that work? Would that work? Would that work? Would that work? Only 8. Yeah, for these bigger objects. Wonder how many other games have. I wonder how many Castlevania uses, like... Yeah, it makes me wonder for that. Like, if you spammed the, like, throwing axe in Castlevania, like, what is the max number of items that you get on screen? Something I gotta think about. I'm thinking I'm just gonna have to like limit maybe the speed at which those things spawn, those bigger objects. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and what was... Okay, shoot. Okay. All right. I think this will be fine. I might just be overthinking this. Right. So back to this thing. Okay. Yeah. So I keep my little guy, my little pointer, just move him up, loop him around when I want, or when I run out of space. And maybe I just do 16. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Is there actually 16 here? That's funny. Okay. "16 objects. But when I'm running it, if I can speak, but when I render one of these other objects that has 2 sprites, it's as if like I'd have to oh man, how am I gonna do that? Just thinking like if it's reused, right? Like this sprite that's right here, which is this guy right there, sprite 10. I kind of want to try multiplexing to get around that limit. I could multiplex the sprite. I don't know if I'll actually end up doing that, but I need to think about it now. Oh man. A lot of thinking here. A lot of design decisions that need to be made. Right, because my thinking is, yeah, if I'm in a mode where I have an item that has a very large projectile, and I've exhausted all of these, the next one that comes up, let me just use this as an example. If I'm already here, I'm using more than 8, so I can't display that many. So these sprites, how are they going to get mapped here? It'd be so much simpler if it was just, because if everything was the same size, then it's just 1-to-1. Like this sprite, he's responsible for this one. This sprite, he's responsible for this one. That sprite, he's responsible for this one. This sprite, he's responsible for that object. Everything is static. There's no dynamic nonsense that happens. It's super simple and it's very fast. But as soon as you start making stuff dynamic, that's when it becomes complicated and slow. Well, maybe it is this way. Maybe I do keep it this way. But I acknowledge like when it's in, when it's just single mode, like just one, like just one of these, right? Then everything maps 1 to 1. But when it's in double mode, then I just cut the number of possible objects I can have on screen down in half. Yeah, I think that's a clever idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, and then I don't have to worry about. I mean, I could still multiplex to get the maximum, but I feel like, yeah, this. I think this is fine. I could just throttle the spawn speed or spawn rate for larger projectiles to compensate. Which I think is a fair gameplay thing. Gameplay design, because bigger object means bigger mask, which means maybe, yeah, there shouldn't be as many of them. I think that works. Let me get rid of this. This is not 12. I think I kind of like this. And I still... Oh, but what happens when I change items? Ooh, I did not consider that. It's something I should think about. Oh. If I change items... Shoot, I did not think that. I did not think of that at all. Fine. Yeah, what the hell do I do in that situation? If I already have things rendered on screen, they're already projectiles. Then I grab another item. What do I do with the projectile objects that are on the screen? How do I handle that then? How do I handle that? This is tricky. Yeah, as soon as I hit that item. Yeah, because this design kind of prevents me from having multiple projectile objects that are of different type being shown at the same time. heck should I do that? How the heck should I handle that? Yeah, I don't want to create an object with my object handler. That would kind of defeat the purpose of doing this. Oh, there's gotta be something. There's gotta be something I can do. The problem is just this nature here. Well, not just that, but like the mapping of like these sprites to become what? So I don't want to have to do this. I don't want to have to wherever this sprite is, right? Like its index, right? You know, whatever that one is. I don't want to have to load different stuff. Like if this, I don't know, the bullet is, let's just say it's 1. I just want to load this once, and I'd like to just blindly move that into everything. And this will be a variable, so it's like load and then just store. And this would be like, you know, +1, +2, +3, +4, +5. You get the idea. But if I want to show different things at the same time, now it's like I have to be aware of like, now I need to load something, maybe something else here. And then load this, right? Like this is ugly. Really, to account for the variability, you'd have to be loading and storing every time like this. And that just is, I can't afford to do this. I don't want to do it. I want this to be just fast. I just want to just load, store. Store, 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 store. I don't know, maybe I could take advantage of multiple H blanks to do this kind of stuff. What do you think? I don't know. That sucks. How do I handle this? How do I handle this? Yeah, I want a different object. Unless I just blindly destroy all projectiles when the player selects a different item. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen that in a game. That's just weird. And it doesn't make sense either. If I shoot a gun and there's a bullet moving, that bullet just doesn't despawn when I grab a different item. It shouldn't. I don't know of any other game that does that. And I don't know if I'd want that, even if other games did that. I really want to reuse these sprites. That's another. It just adds complexity to this. I was thinking that projectiles would be static, so it'd be simple. Like, oh yeah, just take these things and just set them all to the same sprite, and that's your projectile. But no, yeah, what happens when you select a different item? Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, how do I do that? Yeah, I really want this. I really want this to happen. It's just beautiful in my opinion. It's just boom, just yeah, changed all these to projectiles. Maybe there's a fast way to do this on the fly that I'm just not thinking of. But what would it be? Like, how do you can't beat this. Unless you do some weird, oh no, you can't, yeah, you can't beat that. I can't beat that. The tricky part is that it's like freaking mid-frame. It's when this assignment happens. Ugh. Cause I was thinking like, oh, just override, your buffer. But no, I can't override any values. It doesn't work like that when you're updating mid-frame like this. Ugh. Yeah, my other option is, just to create like some kind of weird set of exceptional objects, but I really don't want to do that. Like basically convert the object, the projectile object, to an actual object. But I don't want to do that. I feel like that could cause weird problems for me down the line. There's got to be some other way. I might need to sleep on this. Yeah. afraid I didn't really get much coding done. Just kind of did some brainstorming here. Yeah. Man, I like this idea. It seemed to work, but might have to abandon it when I change items. 'Cause yeah, what the hell do I do? What the hell would I do? What did I even do in my last game? I don't even remember. I think I just like changed them like instantly. So like if you had normal bullets, then you got fire. I think I just changed the bullets instantly to fire. I think. I guess I should confirm that. Yeah, let's just see. Actually, let me open another window. Okay. Yeah, she was instantly. Yeah, I figured as much. Yeah, because that's simple. Simple to do that. But for these other objects that I have, projectile objects, that is. Yeah, that's not the case. Yeah, maybe I do. Maybe I just wipe them out. You pick up an object, I just say, okay, well, yeah, gotta clear it out. Maybe I do that. I'm gonna have to think about this more. Because I feel like this is a good idea. And I kind of want to pursue it. But it'll cost me. Yeah, I think I just need to think about this more. I think I just need to sleep on this. Yeah, I'm just thinking. Well, I should at least write some code here. So I don't think I'm actually going to jump. I think I'm just going to do this. Actually, I should probably carry that with me. Update player controls. I think what I'm going to do, at the bare minimum, is just detect when I press the button and then just call the function create projectile. I'm just wondering where I should throw it in here. Like, do I do it after the spawning agent has been called? Before the spawning, probably before the spawning agent. After the camera. Camera is a killer. So B. Can't remember if I compare it with, if I should do A or B. Yeah, I think I had new buttons here. Do I want to create that array right now? Do I want to do that? Let me just put a little marker in here. I have any more of these guys? No. Okay. I don't have the debugger open. Duh. Well, I was like looking for it. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't even have it open. Yeah. Okay. Hit detected. Alright, so when I press a button, I'm just gonna create that object. Gonna have to check a few things here. Oh, there's so much. Yeah, I have to check if I can create an object, a projectile object. I have to check, which I guess is predicated on what item I have and ammunition. But this also has shared functionality with the knife. So that's also something I have to consider. But yeah, I think ooh, what to do? What to do? Do I do like? No. Thinking like, do I do my sprite like mapping in here? No, I do not. That has to be done every frame. Not only does it have to be done every frame, it has to be done inside the interrupt. I should make a note of that. Note. Projectile sprites must be updated during the interrupt. Because I want to reuse them. This is going to be tricky. Yeah, this will be tricky. All right, I think I should stop here. I think this is a good place to stop. So I need to think more about projectiles. I'll do in my sleep. And yeah, maybe brainstorm some more data structures that I can use here to meet these very specific constraints that I have. Yeah, I'm trying to think, what should I work on tomorrow besides just thinking about other stuff. I'm thinking, yeah, I need to yeah, I just need to finalize what I'm going to do and then implement it. Yeah, that. Yeah, that shouldn't be too hard to do. The implementing part's the easy. It's the thinking of like what you need to do that's the hard part. All right, well, yep, that'll be it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.